Hey everyone, there's been a lot of talk about Trailblazer League since the release date trailer this past week. A huge part of the conversation is region choices, since we only get to choose 3 regions on top of the default ones, being Misthalin and Karamja. Now there is one region that a lot of folks are putting in the bottom of the barrel, and that one's the desert. So in this video I figured we can go explore the desert and see if it's actually as bad as people say it is, or maybe it's a little underrated. So I figured we could just start in the north end of the desert and then work our way south. We'll look at the mine first here, and it's got rocks all the way up to adamantite, so that could be really useful for some early armor smithing training. There's a nice 3 iron rock spot, which could be really good for power mining, but if you run into competition like you probably did in Twisted Leagues, it might not be a viable training method. And then one other thing I kind of forgot about this area is that you have Avon down here from the Family Crest quest. And having him gives you access to goldsmith gauntlets. It's kind of niche, I think, for leagues, because then you also need, Keldagrim in Fremennik to be able to access the blast furnace, but that could potentially be really good smithing training for people that unlock those regions. And then just south of the mine, you're going to have the fire altar, which I guess offers some form of rune crafting training. People are saying you could train lavas here, which is technically the best rune crafting experience in the game, but to do that, you're going to need lunars, which means you're going to need to unlock Fremennik again. And then you also need to have a good source of binding necklaces. You can craft those yourselves or get them as a drop from Abyssal Sire. It just seems like too much work for lavas to be viable in this league. But, I mean, you still have something there, I guess. Next, over here by the beloved Sand Casino, which I doubt will serve any use here in Trailblazer. But you can get the hit points skill cape. It's not really going to be best in slot because the fire cape is accessible for everybody, but it definitely serves its purposes here and there, so it's worth noting for sure. And then lastly, in the northern section, which I think is probably the most significant of the things I've talked about so far, is the Mage training arena. Not a lot of people are a big fan of this place, but it does have some really good rewards with the Infinity Robes. The Master Wand in particular is probably the best thing to get here. You can also get the Mage's Book if you really want to spend a lot of time here. And then it's also a source of runes if you want to go that route for anything. So that's definitely something to consider because the Master Wand can auto-cast ancient spells for the people that are looking to do the Inferno or want barrages for any reason. On top of all that, there's some magic trees out here, so people might find that useful for sourcing some magic logs. And I also forgot to mention that JMods confirmed that Desert Treasure is going to be auto-completed upon just unlocking the desert. So you don't have to worry about doing that. You get ancient magics instantly as soon as you get the desert region. So working our way south, we're in the main Kharid area now. Mostly just a lot of low-level shops, which can be good for the early game. You can get a Mithril Scimitar, Addy Plate Legs. There's a Tanner gem shop that has sapphires and emeralds. So some things to consider here for your early game. Okay, so outside of the city to the southeast is the Sorceress's Garden minigame. It's a pretty good thieving training method. It's a lot more chill than your typical things if you set it up right, but I'm not looking at it from that perspective. There's actually herbs that you can loot from here. So this could potentially be a really good way to collect those herbs for early herblore training. I could be completely wrong though. Hopefully somebody is more educated on it than me, and if you want, leave a comment and let me know if I'm totally off on this. And another thing that I found interesting was this update with the Ferox Enclave, removing clan wars, and then adding a bunch of hill giants over here to the east. So there's a big group of them that could be good for some early combat leveling, and on top of that you can get a bunch of big bones for prayer training. And here we are at the Shanties Pass, just another gate that the Kharidians love to charge players to go through. But there is a shop which might be useful for some players. You can get bronze bars, feathers, ropes, amongst a bunch of other things. So there is some use here for the early game. Alright, and now on the other side of the Shanties Pass, you have this quest icon for the Tourist Trap quest. Really not that crazy of a quest to do, but I think this is one of, if not the most important things to unlock with the desert, because with this quest, you get the ability to smith dart tips. And I'm sure as many of you know, this is going to be huge if you want to consistently use the blowpipe in the league. It's not the only way to get darts for your blowpipe, because you can get dart tips as a drop from Forcath, Crystal Implings, there's a bunch of other things. but those aren't really reliable methods for upkeeping your darts for your blowpipe. And limiting yourself to those sources for darts means that you're gonna have to be very conservative with your blowpipe usage. So definitely take that into consideration when you're planning out your region strategy. So out to the east side of the desert here, you have some lower level hunting options. There's golden warblers for some really early hunting training. And then you have orange salamanders, which can be done at level 47. Then even further out by the coast, there's a singular teak tree that I guess could be useful at some point for some woodcutting training and I guess a teak log source. By getting the desert, you're also going to unlock Calphites as a Slayer task. So you have the main Calphite Slayer cave here. It's not really that great of a task. It's good XP for cannoning, but that's honestly not probably something you're going to be concerned about during leagues. There is Calphite Queen, which is the only boss in the entire desert, but the loot's kind of underwhelming to be honest, so you're really only going there to get the pet. And then to the southwest, you have the Bandit Camp Quarry. Here you find the granite, and this is where you can do 3-tick granite mining if you're into that. This is the fastest experience in the game, so I guess if you're rushing 99 mining, or you want to be the first one there, this is probably a good thing to have. Moving on, we have the town of Pollnivneach. Really not much going on here. You have another agility course to train on. There's blackjacking obviously, but I know not a lot of people are a fan of that. Blackjacking's still going to offer really good XP rates though, so you can knock out thieving really quickly here. Another good thing to know is the smoke dungeon, which is just to the southeast of Pollnivneach. It's going to have a lot of dust devils in there for you to train on and get some drops from. They give you a lot of alkables, herbs, and runes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Pollnivneach. Next up, we just have a short carpet ride to the east to Nardah. Now this is something that I think a lot of people are sleeping on. You have the hunter shop, an oven that's really close to a bank, so it's really good cooking training there. But one thing that a lot of people I don't think are considering is the Elidinus statuette. So if you know how to pronounce that, please leave a comment. But pretty much what this does is it acts as an ornate rejuvenation pool. Has the same effect for the most part, but it actually overheals you. And with the elite achievement diary completed, you have the Desert Amulet 4, which directly teleports you to the statuette, and you get unlimited teleports with that diary completed. So this could be extremely good for the people that are really focusing on some bossing or high level PVM. And I say that this is very useful because getting an ornate rejuvenation pool in your POH during this league is going to require very specific region unlocks. You need Terranwind to get anti-venoms, you need Fremennik to get Keldagrim as your source for marble blocks and gold leaves, and then you need a way to source stamina potions. So I really don't think you're going to see a lot of people with the ornate rejuvenation pools this league. Whereas you unlock the desert, you get this statuette as a free ornate rejuvenation pool. And finally we have Sofanem. Just outside the city is the agility pyramid, which can be a really good source of early game GP, especially if you make the desert your first unlocked region. You're going to have Pyramid Plunder, which is the best thieving training after level 91, but it's still really good before that in case you don't want to do blackjacking at all. There's going to be some shops like a low-level food shop and a place to buy crafting molds. Nothing really crazy there, but one thing that I actually forgot about was the Sofanem dungeon, which is over to the northeast corner here. There's going to be minions of Scabarus, I think that's how it's pronounced. And they're a little bit higher level monsters to beat, but they have really good drops. A lot of alkables, rune addy arrows, and a lot of herbs. That's definitely something that can come in handy when you need to load up on resources. And that about covers it, guys. My thought so far on the desert is that it's probably a bit underpowered for general gameplay and going for league rank. However, I think it could be seriously good for players that want to focus strictly on high level PVM. Ancient magics are super useful for the Inferno and Theater of Blood. Being able to smith your own dart tips is massive for frequent blowpipe usage. And then the statuette and Nardah for healing can be a huge benefit. But who knows, there could be some game-changing relics that we find out about on the start date, which can change our outlook on the desert completely. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Are you planning on taking the desert? Is there anything else I didn't cover with this region? Or what region do you want me to go over in the next video? If you're looking to have some detailed discussion on leagues or just the main game in general, feel free to join the Discord. I also stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday if you want to talk with me live. Links for both of those will be in the description. And yeah, other than that, let's get ready for Leagues. Hopefully we get some more good info this week from the J mods, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.